Mindfulness. What is it? Why do it? How to do it? Mindfulness is something in the news a lot more. I definitely don't think it's a fad. It's something that Eastern philosophy has used for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's perhaps one of the things that can allow us to lower our anxiety and reduce our stress and improve our health. Are you sleepwalking through life? When was the last time you actually stopped and noticed your surroundings? We have this way of creating a been there, done that mindset as a way to lower our anxiety. We kind of don't pay attention to the movie, the 24 hours a day, 7-day a week movie that's playing outside. It's called life. Instead, we get stuck in our minds thinking about the future, thinking about the past, and we kind of sleepwalk. We've lost the beginner's mind. We're no longer in the present, which is the only moment that will ever exist. We are always thinking, is my hair okay? How much homework is Mariano going to give tonight? Oh, I've got college essays. Did anybody hash around my Twittergram? Our minds are like a jackhammer, non-stop, from the moment we wake up until when we go to bed. In fact, sometimes loudest when we're trying to go to bed. Our minds never stop. The top 10 list. This is what I call the series of thoughts that a lot of people tend to carry with them. Top 10 list. Things of the fears of the future, regrets from the past, thoughts that just show up. They've showed up your whole life. You can't help it. You're just doing what you're doing. You're watching a movie. You're trying to go to sleep. Your mind never shuts up all the time. And these top 10 lists of things, they bother you. You're trying to make oatmeal, and all of a sudden that regret from 33 years ago pops into your head. If you had a best friend who hung around you, and every time you were at peace, they tapped you on the shoulder and whispered in your ear the things that bothered you the most, after a while you would reject that friend. But that is in essence what your mind is doing. It is working directly against you. The mind, a beautiful servant and a dangerous master. I like this quote. The mind's a beautiful servant. Of everything we have, it can help us. It can figure things out. It can think. The problem is, most of the time, we're not trying to figure out quadratic equations, or we're not actively thinking. And when our mind is not active, it becomes a dangerous master. It takes us into places and thoughts that we don't need to be at. Most of the time, what the mind does, it puts us into this fearful place of plotting the future and trying to rearrange the past, and we're missing the only moment that is, which is that 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week film that's playing live in this present moment. A person's mind is so powerful, we can invent, create, experience, and destroy things with thoughts alone. Our mind has a capacity way beyond our ability to understand, and the concept of mindfulness is that our mind can actually be a negative thing, whereby the constant worrying is keeping us from the present moment. It's keeping us in a state of anxiety, and it's keeping us from being healthy. Our mind is like a hammer. When our mind is being used, it's a hammer. It's a tool. It can help build your house. The problem is when we're not using our mind, it's been conditioned, even more so by social media, to become a hammer. It starts hitting us. It beats us over the head. It generates that top 10 list. Daily self-talk. I believe there are over 17,000 thoughts a day which will pop into the average person's head. And I think probably that number is more. That self-talk. Is my hair okay? Did she see my new shoes? All day long, from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to bed. And as I say, most often it's when we're going to bed that the self-talk is the loudest. When the hammer of our mind is hammering us. We have not yet achieved mind control through mindfulness. Being in the zone. Everybody understands being in the zone. What do you do for fun? Maybe you're a musician, maybe you're an athlete, maybe you're a painter. My brother's a guitar player. When I talk to my brother when he's playing guitar, he's looking at me, but nothing is coming out of his eyes. He is in the zone. He's not worrying about the laundry or the college applications. He's not worrying about anything. He is in what's called a flow state. He is in the present moment. When you stop thinking about protecting yourself in the future or rearranging your life in the past, when you appreciate this moment, thoughts stop and you just act. So, where is your attention? Is it inside your head or is it out in the world? Here is a great definition. John Kabat-Zinn is one of the leaders in the mindfulness movement. He worked at a hospital in Boston, and he said, give me your worst patients who can't be fixed. And he used meditation and mindfulness techniques to actually reduce their pain. So here's his definition. Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose. That means you're truly watching what's going on in the present moment, non-judgmentally, to the unfolding of the experience moment to moment. Paying attention on purpose is obviously being focused on what's going on. In the present moment, that's the only moment that ever is. We tend to look at the present moment and then we have thoughts about it and we create a different world. Being non-judgmental means not thinking, I like that, I hate that. Doing that doesn't help. Rather, just watching the current moment unfold. That's mindfulness. It's being in the moment. Most people have thoughts going round and round in their head. Mindfulness creates a more calm situation, and it's something with practice will allow you to actually control your thoughts better. So what is mindfulness? Focusing your mind on the present. That is hard to do. In fact, when I talk about meditation, most people can focus on one thought for about 3 seconds, and then your mind will wander. Being mindful is just being aware of your thoughts and actions, not judging yourself, not thinking how stupid I am, but just being in the moment. If you've ever given a presentation in front of a class and you're doing the presentation and it's going okay, and then all of a sudden you think to yourself, how is this going? Are they listening to me? I sound stupid. Is my fly down? And then you basically spiral into 1,000 other thoughts while your presentation goes directly into the mountain. Mindfulness is being attentive to the moment at hand, which is this present moment. Mindful or mindful? I like this cartoon a lot. Most of us are definitely living the life on the left. Our mind is full of all of the nonsense. Now, this guy, really all he should be focused on is the trees and what's in front of him, make sure his dog doesn't run away, maybe he needs sunblock. But all of that other stuff in his head, that's in the make-believe world he's created. Now, it shows a dog just chilling in the present. I think most of us would love to get more to the right. That's where you achieve what's called peace of mind. So there's 2 general modes your mind can be in. The first one is where most people are. It's the doing or driven mode. We see something that needs to be done and we need to fix it. And the problem is, a lot of times when there's a problem, there's no easy solution. So what does the doing driven mind mode do? It digs deeper, it reanalyzes, it tries to solve the problem. It goes round and around and around. It needs assurance, it dwells, it obsesses. This driven mindset is not conducive to happiness. It's not conducive to good health. And it's where most of the people spend all of the time. It's the root of most of our suffering. The second mode that most people don't get to is just being. It's not doing, it's just being. You're not motivated in that very moment to do anything specific. It's not saying you're being lazy, but you're just being. You're accepting and allowing what is. So in other words, let's say you're in a traffic jam. Somebody in the doing or driven mindset is going to be freaking out about what to do and how to move. Somebody in the allowing, being, accepting mindset is going to accept that they're just stuck in traffic and they're going to relax. Some people in the doing driven mindset, they send themselves into hyper panic anxiety modes. All you need to do is bring your awareness and attention back to the present, get out of your own mind, breathe deeply, and you can get back into the being mode. So, the ruminative response style. People, and I like this image shows it quite effectively, maybe it's because of our parents, maybe it's because of our brain chemistry, maybe it's because of our conditioning, but we get stuck on a certain problem. We get stuck in a rut. Negative mood leads to more thinking, leads to obsessiveness. We try to solve the problem, and all we do is create a negative emotional state that never brings us to a solution, but rather brings us into more of a problem. So here's the scientific basis of this, and American medicine is just coming around to it. We all have an autonomic nervous system, and you have 2 parts of it. And you're going to be in one side or the other. You're either in sympathetic or you're in parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight. Parasympathetic is rest and digest. Our bodies are designed to spend 95% of the time in rest and digest. We're just chilling. We're walking through the woods. Everything's good. Holy crap, it's a bear. Our body flips on the fight or flight. It releases cortisol, which is a anxiety-based hormone. It releases adrenaline to get your ass out of there, and it's needed for short-term survival. 95% of the time, we're supposed to be resting and digesting. The problem is, in modern society, in the modern world, we are stuck in fight or flight. There's no bears. There's just bills and rude people and braces and car repairs and the stresses of life. And we are stuck in fight or flight. Our body isn't allowed to rest and digest. Here what shows the fight or flight response, and the symptoms on the left, literally there's a tightening of your muscles. Your digestion will slow down because you definitely don't need to eat when you're in a fight or flight response. Your immune system goes into overdrive, your heart's pounding, your breathing is fast. Your body is literally, if you look to number 2, your body is reading the reactions of what's going on, and it's releasing all of these hormones, which are creating this panic sensation. If you've ever had something bad happen to you and you hear bad news, there is a physical feeling you get of that shorter, rapid breathing. That is your body going into fight or flight. You don't have to ask it to do it. It does it on its own. The problem is when it's stuck, then it does it constantly. Everything becomes fight or flight. I bet some of you at some point have been stuck. If you've been stuck in a problem, if you keep thinking about the problem, do you get out of it? If you get stuck in the mud or the snow, if you stand on the gas, what happens? You only get more stuck. So, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is trying to move your attention away from the doing. You don't have to do anything right now. One of the things I ask kids a lot, I say, well, what's bothering you? And they start telling me a list of all of their problems. And I say, no, what's bothering you right now? And then they once again tell me the list of all of the problems. And I said, no, right now, in this moment. And then they get what I'm saying. The problems that we manifest in our mind, we're always trying to fix. I'm not saying the problems aren't real, but you can't always do and fix every problem. Sometimes there has to be room for acceptance and allowing, and just being. That will allow your immune system and the fight or flight response to come back into homeostasis. So Eckhart Tolle is one of the leaders in this field. Power of Now is a great book. All you really need to do is accept this moment fully. You are then at ease in the here and now and at ease with yourself. So I have a medical thing that makes me prone to kind of a panic attack almost. Even though I'm not depressed or anxious, my body kind of tightens up. And literally accepting the moment, breathing, realizing it's going to go away, the bad physical feeling tends to go away. Versus if we kick and scream when we're in this place, we are just firing up our fight and flight even more. So mindfulness, the concept itself, the three men on the bottom, Jack Kornfield, Alan Watts in the middle, Ram Dass on the right, they're all Westerners, 2 of them from America, 1 from England, who went to Asia. Jack Kornfield is on the left is a Buddhist scholar. Alan Watts dabbles in it all. Ram Dass was more of a Indian scholar. They went, learned these techniques, and brought them back in the 60s and 70s to America. They were popular for a while in the 60s and 70s, and now they are definitely making a resurgence in the last years. So, John Kabat-Zinn, he said there's 7 basic concepts you need to use for this mindfulness. So let's go through them. Non-judging means not judging the moment, just accepting the moment, and also not being so judgmental towards yourself. Patience is something I have to say all of the time. When we have desire for something to happen, we are not being patient, and in fact, the desire will get in our way. We have to just breathe and let life do what life's going to do sometimes. Beginner's mind. Beginner's mind is the concept whereby you're a little kid and your eyes are wide open. If you've ever been back to your kindergarten building, when you go back, the building is so tiny and you're so amazed because you remember it being so big. That's because you had beginner's mind. If you walk out to your car today and you see a squirrel, you won't even notice. If an armadillo runs out, you're going to notice because it's different. It will shake you from your sleepwalking and bring you back to the beginner's mind. If you can try to keep the beginner's mind all of the time, what that means is you're actually interested with wonder in this present moment constantly. And by being that interested in this present moment, you are no longer stuck in the repetitive top 10 thoughts. Non-striving means acceptance. A lot of people have trouble with that. They're actually back to back. And letting go, non-attachment. Letting go is realizing that change is the one thing that is permanent. Jack Kornfield, the Buddhist scholar, said, when you hold on to something, when you hold on to change, all you're really doing is creating rope burn. You are creating your own pain. And sometimes mindfulness teaches you got to let go of the past because the only thing that's real is this present moment. If you're mindful of the present moment, you're not being hammered by those past thoughts. You can let them go. So just sit. Some people get freaked out by what meditation is, but just sit. Slow down. Leave the past alone. Stop worrying about the future. Appreciate this moment. Now, meditation we'll do later in the year. Meditation is focusing on something with such concentration that your thoughts stop. This isn't asking you to meditate. Just relax for a second. Take 5 minutes and just breathe. And when your mind starts going cuckoo clock, just focus on the present moment. Look at the wall. Look at the trees. So here's some basic observations about mindfulness. There's a wicked big difference between actual pain and the suffering that we create in our minds. I'm not saying that pain's not real. I feel pain all of the time. But we tend to suffer more than we actually physically feel pain. Suffering is a mindset that somehow things should be different. Suffering is self-imposed and optional. You can remove it. It's a waste of energy. In other words, yes, my leg hurts, or yes, this bad thing happens. But the more you focus on what you wish was rather than what is, the more you suffer. This wisdom can allow you to reduce this negative waste of energy. The way out of this self-created suffering is to make a mind that appreciates instead of judges. When you're just in the moment and you appreciate what's going on rather than thinking how it could be better, when you appreciate what's going on, you bask in the moment. When you're judging, you're in your head, thinking about if I was in charge, it would be this or it would be that. Nobody needs to know all of your thoughts, not even you. Because Eastern philosophy teaches that your thoughts are just a conditioned response. Just relaxing in the present moment can relax your thoughts and reduce the amount of constant fight or flight. It's remarkable how liberating it feels to be able to see that your thoughts are just thoughts and they are not you or your reality. We'll go into this more when we get to the egoic mind in Eastern Indian philosophy. But your thoughts come from your conditioning, meaning if your parents your whole life said something negative to you, like, I wish I had an abortion instead of you, how else are you going to feel about yourself than what you've been conditioned with? However, if you can realize that that negative voice you have in your head saying that you're worthless comes from the conditioning and it's not you, you can create a space. Sometimes they call it the witness, sometimes they call it the narrator, but you become the witness to what you're thinking. In other words, when you're sad, is all of you sad? Or is there a part of you that's not sad that's noticing the sadness? Eastern philosophy and mindfulness teaches you need to be that witness and create separation between you and your thoughts. This is a difficult concept, but we will come back to it later in the year. Taking a break. Research has shown that mindfulness meditation improves health and mood, decreases stress, depression, and negativity. Not being driven. We're such an achievement, action-oriented society. Maybe sometimes just relaxing. I'm not saying laying on the couch in your underwear eating Fruit Loops, watching Jerry Springer, but actually to meditate and let your mind rest is great, and it's been shown medically the benefits. Neuroplasticity is one of the more interesting recent developments. It was discussed by Paramahansa Yogananda, an Indian mystic, years ago. We literally have wiring in our brain, like not literal, like neural wiring. And it takes 21 days or so to make a new habit. If you do something every day for 21 days, it will become wired in your head. The problem is, it's been shown that when we have negative woe is me thinking, or we get stuck in fight or flight, the neural networks are reinforced in our head so that every time we have a similar stimulus, our mind will go back to that negative way of thinking. Neuroplasticity is actively trying to think positively as a way to change the way your brain is wired. In other words, something bad happens, most people go, oh no, woe is me. Maybe by trying for 21 days to truly redirect negative thoughts, we can then look at the negative thing as an opportunity rather than a failing. This is an interesting concept for me personally. I've been dealing with Lyme disease, and I tried a thing called the dynamic neural retraining system, which is literally just a brainwashing conditioning program of positivity in order to fake your body into leaving fight or flight and rewire it in a more positive way. Your thoughts create your world, from Buddha. This is generally, people kind of just gloss over this, but truly, what you think, the way you act, you can't control what happens in the world, but your thoughts will create your world. So how to do this technique? Just stop, take a breath, relax, observe what's going on. That gets you out of your head. Breathing, or breathi. Breathing is one of the most important things, and it's overlooked. We can use the breath as a way to focus. A lot of people in meditation will just focus on the in-breath and the out-breath as a way of calming themselves, as a way of stopping their thoughts. There's a whole type of breathing called pranayama yoga, which is an Indian yoga. Andrew Weil, you may have seen this guy. He's one of the more famous naturopaths. If I had to limit my advice on healthier living to just one tip, it would be simply to learn how to breathe correctly. And so right now I'm going to quickly give you a couple of breathing techniques. The first is an odd one, but we should really only be taking about 5 breaths a minute. 5 breaths a minute seems, most people are taking 12 to 20. 5 breaths a minute means each breath is going to have a 6 seconds inhale and then a 6 seconds exhale. Now in actuality, it'll feel a little forced in the beginning, but when I get into a hyperactive panic state, I literally will breathe in for 5 or 6 seconds and breathe out for 7 or 8 seconds, and I can literally improve my health. One of the best pranayama techniques I've given to kids who've been telling me they still use it all these years later, it's kind of a box breathing. It's a relaxation breath. What you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you breathe out for 8. So 4 in, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. When you breathe out through your mouth. When you breathe in, breathe through your nose. You're exhaling twice as much as you're inhaling, and that's getting all the carbon dioxide out. But also what it's doing, besides oxygenating you, it's shifting your body out of fight or flight. Slow, concentrated breathing, cold showers. There's a variety of other things that can literally calm you down. Do it washing up. Be more present in your daily activities. Be in the moment. One of the greatest books in history, in my opinion, was Be Here Now by Ram Dass. Do it washing up means when you're doing the dishes, focus on doing the dishes. When you're doing the laundry, focus on doing the laundry. It sounds lame and most people don't do it. Instead, they go in their mind and they think of the top 10 lists and they ruin their day. Wake up. Now, is it possible to see the world with new eyes? I think it is. If you, as an experiment, just try to stay present. See how hard it is, first of all. But it literally will force you into the beginner's mind, and you can forget all of those thoughts, or at least make a little less all of those thoughts that have tortured people. Meditation. Meditation will go into more detail, but they've shown medically that meditation calms the body, calms the immune system, actually accentuates the immune system, calms the central nervous system. Appreciating the moment. It's so hard. We're taught to judge. We judge everything. We don't need to. We don't need to always think about the past or the future. Bring your thoughts back to the present and let your body regenerate. I found it interesting. Dear you, you who always have so many things to do, so many places to be, your mind spinning like fan blades at high speed, each moment always a blur because you're never still. I know you're tired. I also know it's not your fault. The constant brain buzz is like a swarm of bees threatening to sting if you close your eyes. You've forgotten something again. You need to prepare for that or else. You should have done that differently. What if you just closed your eyes? Would the world fall apart without you? Or would your mind become the open sky, flock of thoughts, flying across the sunrise as you just watch and smile? Try getting out of the doing-driven mindset for a little bit of time and just go to the being mindset. Remember, you are the only person who thinks in your mind. You are the power and authority in your world. Most people have mental blocks. They have walls in their mind that prevent them from doing things. The awareness one day that you will have that you are the only one who has built that wall. You've built that wall and you can go over that wall. But ultimately, you are the power in your own mind. What's your story? Most people have generated a story, a narration, if you will, of their life. A series of bad events have occurred, and now when something happens, you add it to the story. Well, woe is me. We create these stories, and the odd thing is, nobody knows the story other than us. We're the only one who's telling it, and we're the other one who's hearing it. We can choose to put our minds stuck in our head, telling us stories, trying to replay the past or fix the future, or we can be in the present moment.